Imagine waking up one day and realizing your entire life was a lie. That everything you knew, your childhood, your parents, even your name, was never supposed to be yours. That's exactly what happened to Luis. At just 6 years old, he vanished. His family searched for decades, never knowing if he was alive. Then, 73 years later, a simple DNA test unraveled a chilling secret no one saw coming. It was a warm afternoon in 1951. Two brothers, Luis and Roger, were playing in a local park, laughing and enjoying their day. Luis, just 6 years old, was the younger of the two, while Roger, 10, kept a watchful eye on him. Out of nowhere, a woman wearing a green bandana approached them. She knelt down and offered Luis some candy. "Would you like more?" she asked, smiling warmly. "Come with me and I'll take you to the store to get some." Luis, an innocent child, didn't hesitate. He followed her. Roger, curious, started to trail behind them. "I want some too," he called out. But as they walked further, a strange feeling crept up his spine. Something about this wasn't right. He stopped. Then he turned and ran home to tell their mother. The moment Roger burst into the house, panic set in. Their mother, a recent immigrant from Puerto Rico, didn't speak English well, but she understood one thing: her baby was missing. Without hesitation, she dashed to the park. But Luis and the woman in the green bandana were gone. The police were called, but communication barriers slowed things down. When officers finally grasped the severity of the situation, a massive search began. They combed through 9 city blocks. Soldiers from a nearby base joined the hunt. The Coast Guard searched the Bay Area, and local news stations broadcast his disappearance. Still, no trace of Luis. Days turned to weeks. Weeks turned to months. Luis's mother refused to give up. Every day, she walked to the police station, hoping for news, and every day she received the same response: nothing. Eventually, her visits slowed. Once a day, once a week, once a month. By the time years had passed, she only came once a year. And every time she walked in, the officers simply shook their heads. No words were needed. She understood. Still, she never stopped believing. Meanwhile, on the other side of the country, Luis was growing up. He had no idea that he was kidnapped. He was told he was adopted. Raised by a loving couple, he lived a normal life. He enlisted in the Marines, fought in Vietnam twice, became a firefighter, got married, and had children. A full life, a happy one. Completely unaware of the family still searching for him. In 2005, Luis's mother passed away at 92 years old, never knowing what happened to her son. By then, hope seemed lost until 15 years later. In 2020, a woman named Alita, Luis's niece, took a simple DNA test out of curiosity. The results? A 22% match with an unknown man, a relative she had never met. Curious, she messaged him. No response. Years passed. Then, one day, she watched a documentary about missing people. Something clicked. She remembered the lost uncle her family always spoke about. She looked up the name from the DNA test, and there he was, Luis. Alita contacted the police, urging them to reopen the case. Astonished, authorities reached out to the FBI and the California Department of Justice. The investigation led them to Luis, living on the East Coast. When the FBI approached him, he was shocked. "I was kidnapped?" he asked, confused. To prove it, they conducted a DNA test. The results were undeniable, a perfect match. For the first time in 73 years, Luis finally learned the truth. Luis flew back to Oakland, California, where his family still lived. Tears were shed. One of the first people he embraced was his brother, Roger, the same boy who watched him walk away 73 years ago. A photograph captured the moment. Luis, now an old man, standing beside Roger, a lifetime apart, finally together. Despite the reunion, one question remained unanswered. Who kidnapped Luis? The woman in the green bandana had vanished. His adoptive parents had passed away. The truth about how he was stolen and who orchestrated it, a mystery lost to time. And maybe it always will be.